Hi, it's the old farmer walking. I think I'm going to head back down onto the river. We just came through about a 2-week stretch of quite cold down into around the -30 at night. In the 20s, -20s during the day. Today we got a shift. It's going to be on the plus side for the next week or 10 days, so that feels pretty nice. So it's time for the afternoon walk. I think back down onto the river would be nice. Well, here we are overlooking the Red Deer River. Kind of a winter scene, isn't it? I think that's where I'm going to go. I did bring my snowshoes. Brought the shorter ones with the rounded point, well, rounded end. I guess it's not a point if it's rounded. But there is an island down here. I haven't been across there for quite a while, so today's the day. Here we go down the boat launch. That's the main flow of the river. To the left, and down this way, channel around the south side of the island. So there's some coyote tracks here down on the river. It looks to me like one stopped to scratch his fleas and the others had to go around him. Walking down the channel, that's the island there. Just watching for a place to climb up the bank. I used to know the island quite well back when I was building Willow furniture. Cut a lot of willow over here, but it's been quite a while, and I know things have grown in quite a bit thicker. The trails that I used to follow, a lot of them are overgrown. It's where the critters go up and down, so I guess it should work for me. Made it. So here we go through the bush. This is one of the trails that I used to follow and go across the island to cut willow. Yeah, so there's the old willow patch. So it was in this area that I cut my teepee poles quite a few years ago. I see some here that would work nicely. So you know how it goes sometimes when you make a change in life. It spawns another change, and that spawns another change. On and on it goes. So I made a change in life, I guess about 26 or 7 years ago. And the change that spawned change was that I found myself no longer a farmer. And I thought that was it, that I was done with farming. But as it turns out, farming wasn't done with me. So anyway, not a farmer, so now what? I had just a few years before that taken a workshop to build bent willow chairs, and that was fun. By the end of the workshop, I had my chair sold. So I went on to build a few more. And then one day I got a call from the college in Medicine Hat asking if I would teach the course in the college. Not sure which way to go. So I just immediately said, well, no, I'm a farmer. I'm not a college instructor. It didn't interest me. But that kept gnawing at me for the next few days. So I phoned them back and said, well, maybe I'll give it a go. Turned out to be a pretty good thing. And it turned out to be a bigger thing, because one class led to another to another. And it was fun. It's fun to watch people come and try something new. For some it worked out really well. Some swore they'd never do it again. But we had fun. So anyway, when that day came when I realized I wasn't a farmer, and wondering now what, I thought, well, can I make enough chairs to keep me in groceries. And sure enough, that's what happened. We ended up selling furniture in different markets here in Alberta. We went down into Ontario, cottage country, into Toronto. Oh, there goes the pheasant. Oh, this is some thorny stuff. Uh-oh, there's a bank to go down. Okay, if the deer can do it, here goes. Alright. Yeah, so took a trailer load of bent willow chairs to Wichita, Kansas at one point. So that was pretty exciting for an old farmer. A middle-aged farmer at that point. But that evolved. So I had a small upholstery business that I used to occupy my time in the winters. So I started to incorporate or combine willow and leather, creating some larger pieces. So that was a good chapter of life, the furniture business. But I ended up back on the farm, which has been good as well. So you just never know where it's going. Had I not screwed my courage up tight and committed to teaching that workshop, there would have been a lot missed. So this bank or grade, or I don't know what we call it, that we see here is something that was built by CPR in 1914, I guess, 13, when the rail came into town here. Like I had mentioned earlier, CPR had big plans for this area. This here was to bridge across the Red Deer River and then fork and go in the direction of Hudson Bay, and the other one in the direction of Peace Country, so Edmonton and beyond. They had plans of making Empress the largest city between Winnipeg and Vancouver. But you know what happens to plans. Well, back up off the river, and that landed us on what we call the Loop, little tent site here, part of the village camping facilities. Now these little trees here, my mother once told me when they were kids, they used to come down and swim in the river after school, and this was their changing room. The girls would get on the other side of the bushes and get into their swimwear. Over this direction is that bank that was to catch the bridge that was going across the river. It's likely going to be kind of breezy, but I think I'm going to go up. Okay, back in town. It was nice to be down on the river again, but I'm looking forward to being back in my burrow. So I drilled all these holes, or cut them with a hole saw, in the backrest, partly for weight reduction, but partly so you got a bit of a handhold when you want to maneuver this thing in and out. Now, the thing is, all the rough edges, it's a lot of sanding, so I'm going to try to make a tool. I've got this piece of elm wood here that I cut from an elm tree in the yard here years ago. It's quite hard, so I'm going to see if I can create a kind of a cone-shaped piece out of that to go on the drill that I can staple some sandpaper to. Ain't pretty, but it seems to work pretty good. Alright, so back to the sofa bed thing, I guess is what we call it. I've decided to put a floor in it. The only reason for putting a floor in is so that I can put a long table to slide in underneath of the floor. And that'd be this. So that's going to slide in from the back here. This being the back end of the van. So 6 feet slide in, and then when parked, can pull that out, get about 4 feet of table or so. Whether that's out into the open or into the tent. We have a tent, goes over the back of the van. So it basically makes the van and the tent are all one unit. It's pretty handy. I can maybe put a picture in. So now I'm trimming, doing some trimming here. I cut access holes. Oh, here's the inside. So 4 feet of it with the floor where the table will slide under. This end is open yet, so I'll put a ledge along here, and then when the table slides out, whatever's at this end is free to go in and out with the table, and from here up is stationary. So the access holes, I'm going to cut some fur to put a little ledge there to keep things from shaking out of there, and to give a harder surface for sliding stuff in and out over. This is salvaged lumber. Most of what I build is with salvaged lumber. You can see here some nail holes from past life. So I salvage old farm buildings as they're going to be demolished if I can get there before the demolishing machinery. I either disassemble them where they are or drag them back to the farm to disassemble. But there's an example of a 2x6 that came from an old grain bin. So you always have nail holes alongside. Doesn't really bother me. That can be milled away or just left. Sometimes the old nail holes look kind of nice too. So anyway, mill it down, get into fresh lumber. This now is, well, you can't buy lumber like this. This is old growth fir that would have been cut 100 plus years ago, and very hard, well aged. So it's top-notch lumber, and if I can save it from going into the burn pit, that's a good thing. I'll maybe put a picture in of some of the other work I've done with it. I renovated the farmhouse, all with old salvaged fir, and most of the furniture that I build now is with old fir.